Save it for snow.
Yep, or alleys.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all, committees and department heads. We're gonna move on into unfinished business. Item A is the dumpster roll-off bids. We had a sanitation committee meeting tonight, and it's been recommended that we reject all bids, and the sanitation committee will take over and rebid them. I think that would be we'll turn that over to the sanitation committee to take care of it for us. But I'll need a vote of the council for that to happen. It's bids that come in and it's need to be rejected. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Get to work.
Sorry about that.
Item B is the tap. So Keith and Melissa, I don't know who wants to take that one up.
You want to start
Tap
or you
Brent.
want me to?
Go ahead.
So I'm Melissa Combs, I work for Duncan County Commission, and I'm serving tonight as a liaison between Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission, who is your grant writer, and the city of Kennett, and I've been helping out Mr. Westerfield. So on the August 1st meeting, we discussed two potential grant applications for the Transportation Alternatives Program. The first being the reapplication of 2,250 feet of sidewalks down Floyd Street from Whitney to Center, and those would be ADA compliant, and it would have lights to make that safer. The total project's estimated cost, we did not have at the last meeting, but we do this evening. The total project cost is $402,850. If this grant is funded, we will receive a federal share of 80%, which is $322,280, and would require a local cash match of $80,570. The second option is the installation of pedestrian signal systems at the 84 College and Kennett intersection in downtown Kennett, and proper striping and pedestrian signage around the rest of the downtown square. The total project estimated cost is $319,300. The federal share, if awarded, would be 80% at $255,440, and would require a local cash match of 20%, which is $63,860. So tonight, we need to decide if we want to pursue either project or both projects. Due to finances, they have to be two separate applications because the cap of award was $500,000, and as you heard, each of those combined would be more than $500,000. My recommendation would be to proceed with both applications, and then if you do decide to do that, we have to prioritize which one is more important to us. My recommendation, and I believe Mr. Westerfield's recommendation as well, is to prioritize the Floyd Street, because we have already applied for that before. We have proved that it matches our plans, and it's probably more likely to be funded. And then the second priority would be the downtown crosswalk.
We have a motion.
I'll second that.
Second. Yes, sir.
We had the lights down there years ago. What happened to it?
I don't know the answer to that, so that was before my time. And before I was here this evening, I was at a MoDOT meeting. We discussed how on the step for 2026, MoDOT already plans to replace the traffic signals at both the traffic signals downtown. I asked them if their plans included pedestrian crosswalks, and they said it did not. So I don't know what happened before, but the replacement would not include pedestrian lights. And they said they did recognize that we had already submitted our intent, and they were trying to see how that would work because we have raised the safety issue there.
I know what happened before, if you wanna know it. What happened, Mr. Swain, what happened was when we did the downtown revitalization and the pool and all that project, at that time, the lights hung on, whatever, lines across the street. And so when we got all new lamp posts and lighting all around the square, that was removed, and, I didn't realize at the time we were not going to have any crosswalk signs. So that was in, whatever year that was. I can't remember that part, but that's what happened, Joe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion? No, we'll vote. All in favor of the motion to approve both TAP grants, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes.
I have a resolution for each that will need to pass as well for each application. And Terry, you can educate me on how to do it, but I need to read the title.
Only the title.
Okay. A resolution of the City of Kennett, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Missouri Department of Transportation, Transportation Alternatives Program, and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding.
We have a motion to approve the resolution as stated.
Motion.
Motion,
Second.
second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, that one was for Floyd Street. We're gonna do it again for the downtown crosswalk. A resolution of the City of Kennett, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Missouri Department of Transportation, Transportation Alternatives Program, and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding.
Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. As stated, any discussion?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
there again, this money is coming from the transportation,
Correct.
right, so it's not coming out of
Back
general
in our
budget.
budget, no.
Transportation
Make
tax.
sure everybody knows that.
And we got $814,722.40 in transportation budget.
Okay, and that's all that can be used,
That's all it can be used for, sidewalks and streets.
last time.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor, and Ms. Ellis, I'm gonna get you to sign these resolutions. Tomorrow morning, I will let the grant writer know to proceed with both applications. And Mr. Westerfield is gonna get a hold of Smith and Company and have them finish our drawings downtown. The Floyd Street application is complete and ready to go, because remember, we had it pretty well packaged before, and they've updated the drawings and estimates. And
When is the deadline?
August 24th.
Do you have a start date?
No, I do not have a start date. It has to be completed within 23 months of award. We anticipate awards by November.
So we'll know something in November?
Yeah, we'll know by November. And if either one of them doesn't get approved, or both, there's another cycle with an equal amount of money next year. So at least we'll have this application prepared if the city of Kennett decides to do it again.
Ms. Combs, thank you very much for the work you put into this.
You are
Keith, thank you for the work. We'll move into new business.
Thank you.
Or any unfinished business that's not on the agenda. If not, we'll move to new business. Mosquito report from Vector. I think they're here. All right, so we're gonna move to item B. Need to approve the conflict of interest ordinance.
This is an ordinance that we pass, it has to be passed every other year, so we pass it every year to make sure that we don't miss anything. But it's a conflict of interest, and then, we call it an ethics ordinance. And by passing this, you all don't have to fill out detailed economic reports. So, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Kennett, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Is there a motion to approve the ordinance as stated?
Motion. Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Kennett, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
We have a motion to approve as stated. We have a motion and a second. Who was that? Ms. Wayne said second or one? That motion. Okay. This will be a roll call vote, so we'll start to the left over here. Mr. Palmer?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We need to approve the revenue expenditures that's in your packet.
Make the motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Second. Discussion? Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Also, we have a balance sheet in your packets. We have a motion to approve it, as stated. Written. Motion?
Second.
We have a second. Discussion, changes, corrections, questions? All in favor say aye. Approval.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I want to say some words to the community on behalf of the council, and I think the city departments and the city employees, we appreciate the support from the council on the capital improvements tax. That was a pretty well what I call landslide victory. That's saying a lot with the amount of, I feel like a little distrust for the community with the way the finances have been, but that's showing that you have confidence in us. And hopefully we will keep that up.
Lisa Dry helped out too. I was there that morning to vote. She was answering questions.
She did all day.
You did all that. All right.
I let her down, I didn't show up.
You had a good excuse.
I had a good excuse.
But I do appreciate the community for supporting their city. And Mr. I do appreciate you being out there.
Well, thank you. I'd also like to thank former Mayor Hancock and his daughter Donna for their help in getting this going. John Moyer, who is head of the Citizens Committee, and Brittany Bedwell for giving us, or for providing the committee a great price on the signs. So those three folks were really helpful.
That's right. And the media, for getting the word out.
Yes, and the
Paper and
media.
radio station, we
Yes.
appreciate that, getting the word out. A little property maintenance update for the community. Number one is the hospital. Number two is taking care of the look of our town. So we will be, a lot of discussions. I will be meeting with Brian, our property maintenance officer. And I'm going to be asking the council for some funding to start tearing down some burnouts and overgrown lots. I'm going to explore what the price will be using contractors. I'm going to explore using in-house labor and in-house equipment. Whatever stretches the dollar the most is where I think we should go. But I will bring that to the council for your all's vote. I just want you to know that burnouts and the overgrown lots will be the first priority. And then we'll work our way down to the dilapidated buildings. With that's all that I have. Besides August 18th, we need your popcorn and Pop-Tarts up here at City Hall. Not CLGW, here at City Hall. Will be great. Or fire station, wherever you want to drop it. As long as it's not CLGW. So, that's for a good cause, for the backpack program, so it's good. Alrighty, at this time, we have a large public gathering. Does anybody here wish to speak to the council?
I got one other thing.
Yes, sir.
On the Prance property, where we at with that?
Jay, would you care to update us on the bids that were open today?
Yeah.
I was just looking at them one. Okay, so where we are right now is that the bids that we're doing, we sent the bids, posted bids for requests for qualifications, because we wanted to make sure, since there are some environmental issues there that have been recorded at the state level and federal level, that we address those appropriately with the right firm. And so those proposals were opened, they were sealed until this afternoon. We opened those. It will take time because those are all very technical, and we're talking about environmental. Steve Penosis wants to be the one, no, okay. So to give the committee time to review those and make a recommendation to the council.
We had 6 different bids, by the way.
Yes, and Ms. Ellis broke down the names of all the companies, so it was great to see that we had that many proposals come in. And we did post that on our city website. Tina Butler did that, so that's a lot of these companies that called said that they saw that on our website, so that was a very effective way to do that. From here, then, we proceed with the grant that we have, and once in the bid process, it said that once the most qualified company is chosen, at that time then, we will negotiate the price of each step of the way, because there's some steps in this cleanup that have to be done, there's some ongoing monitoring that have to be done, in order to get that appropriately resolved. So that's kind of where we are on that.
Thank you for that. And also, next council meeting on the agenda, we need to have directions from the council as to how far we will want to clean the property.
You know, there was a contract proposed to the council in closed meeting, and I don't need to discuss that a whole lot in open meeting. So we just need to be thinking about that. If you have questions about that, either go to a closed meeting and discuss a contract, or you can ask me and I'll give you that information to the council.
And also, I would like to state on record, to the council so you know that I've had 2 local parties of interest here that's interested in the property too. So whenever that becomes available to be sold, they would like to be notified of it.
Is that as is, or is that after it's cleaned, or?
That's yet to be determined, because they're waiting on an answer from the council.
Okay.
You know, they're waiting on what the direction from the council will be. So next meeting, we will decide that direction. Pretty much it's gonna be clean it completely, or clean it, or sell it as is with a green card on it, for deed restrictions.
Yeah, I would say that, I'm just, selling it as is means we would not use that grant, which is not what the council voted to do. So you all just need to think about that, and, again, Randy, what part?
Not as is, not like, we'll have the monitoring, they'll
Oh,
still
okay,
green light, we just have
okay.
to have the deed restrictions.
Oh, okay,
For
so
what type
sell
of
with
business?
deed restrictions to allow monitoring.
Yes, no, we're gonna continue with the grant
Okay.
because we don't wanna get kicked out of the grant.
Right, okay, that was the only thing.
I'm
So-
sorry about the miss.
No, yeah, I just didn't understand, that's perfect, so, okay,
Thank you.
that's kind of where we are. You're welcome.
Any questions? I'm glad you brought it up though,
Yeah.
appreciate it. Can you please come up, state your name and address?
Vern Lowell. When the chamber was mentioning about the drawing from the, Delta Fair and things like that, are we promoting Kennett for the duck season?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason I say that is that Southeast Missouri become the new duck bar Arkansas. I've seen guys from Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, Virginia, they're coming everywhere to come here and hunt. And I think the more we promote the city, or hotels, just like April West, it's a big draw. It's been a lot of money. Also, on the marijuana sales tax, some of the citizens know that, you know, we're not taxing just them. Like I said, I think I said before, you drive by there and see cars from Arkansas, Tennessee, a lot of people out of state or out of city that use our services, our roads and stuff, so the importance of that tax being passed is pretty significant, I think. The other is something been bothering me. I already talked to Lance Davis about it. You know, we've had 2 line of duty deaths in the city. Major Rick Rose and Robert Moore. Both recognized nationally. Rick Rose is on the officer down page. Robert Moore recognized nationally.
I'm sorry.
Who wanted Robert?
Nobody ended up going because they did not notify me until like 2 days prior to. I was going to fly to Maryland and I did not notify them.
What bothers me is that I'm a retired police officer, I'm a veteran, and that all we've done for them is hang pictures of them all day. I think it does, I think it's a crime for their memories that they died in the line of duty. I'm not saying that it's bad as a whole, people get, you know, everything been mixed up with what's been going on and everything, but now stuff's kind of subsided. I know Lance has something in mind for Robert, but as far as Mayor Rhodes goes, I don't know why we can't name a street or a building or something to honor his legacy. He was an officer here for a long time. He was here when I was here. And I just think they deserve a little more than a picture on the in all of it. I mean, we can hang everybody else's pictures, but I'm just saying, we should do something to show support for our law enforcement, support for our fire department, or to show support for our military. So we shouldn't forget our police officers.
We'll take it into consideration.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else wish to speak to the council? Anything else?